Hey, hey, hey. Happy Tuesday, everybody. People are still making their way on. But hey, Becky, it's just us. Kristen's running a little bit behind. So it's just us for some opening. We have a couple little things to tell everybody about before Kyle's comedy. So Becky, what do you got?
What do I got? Well,
what do you got? We don't have Kristen yet. She's running a little bit. Oh, there she is. She just got on. I'll bring her on. Go ahead, Becky.
Okay. Oh, you want me to go first?
Well, I'm trying to find Kristen. There she is. Either one. Go ahead, ladies. What do you ladies got for everybody tonight?
I'll go first.
Okay, go first.
Since I'm late, I'll go first. Just a couple things. One is a reminder of Mom's Group tomorrow morning. We're having a ball at Mom's Group. We talk about what we talked about the night before, or something that's been going on during the week with you, and cool that we're getting to know the moms pretty intimately, and I'm loving it. We're really enjoying getting to know the moms and ladies. Don't have to be a mom, can be a ladies. And it's just a fun time. If you need the link, you can contact Angie or me or Becky. We all have the links. It's always the same every week. If you can't make it every week, it's totally fine. We love to have moms dropping in every once in a while. It's just a lot of fun. We enjoy it. And also, Run for Recovery. Mark your calendars, May 7th. That's Mother's Day weekend. We don't have the registration site up yet, but I want you to mark your calendars. It's going to be fun. Hoping to have it in person. Pretty sure we're going to have it in person. If not,
we will.
Virtual.
We're doing it in person. We are doing it in person.
All right. In person.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're having a meeting tomorrow, and I'm going to get all the stuff dialed in on it. And as soon as we get the website up or the registration up, we'll let you guys know. But make sure you mark your calendars. It's going to be a fun time.
Yes. Awesome. Thanks, Kristen. All right, Becky.
Okay, well, that sounds like a lot of fun. Way more fun than what I get to talk about tonight, which is so that we can do all these fun things, we do need to fundraise. And that's what I do. And well, Kristen and Angie as well. But anyway, when we used to meet in person, and hopefully we'll be doing that soon, we would pass around an envelope and everybody would throw in like $5. And since we've been on Zoom, we haven't had that capability until recently. We decided, well, we can start a battle funds for our solution groups. And so we can put a link in the chat. And I don't know if Kristen, you want to do that while I'm talking, but so just a link to our website. And oh, I can't hear you. Are you muted, Kristen?
Yeah, I muted myself.
Oh, okay.
I'll do that.
Okay, that would be great. So anyway, you can just click on the link, or you can go to battlefielladdiction.com and click on donate. And then you can make a donation for Solution Group. And you can just write, there'll be a box that'll pop up that says notes, and you can just type in Solution Group or Battle Funds. And then we'll know that that's what you want it to go for. And so what that does is to support us being able to do this every week. So if you can do that, that's great. We'd really appreciate it. And then we're also in the process of getting a new donor management system so that we can make it easier. And maybe even we're hoping do text to give, which would make it super simple for solution groups. Because we're hoping that we're going to do this in person soon, but we know that we also need to do it on Zoom, so people that can't be there can also participate, and probably Run for Recovery might be able to have some people do that via Zoom too, so that we have more options, whether if you are comfortable coming in person or not, or able to, maybe you live outside of the area. So anyway, so please, if you can, toss us a few bucks for Solution Group. That would be awesome. And we just really appreciate all of you being here every week and supporting us.
Yes, I second that. Thank you. Thank you, Becky and Kristen. Thanks for all your work on that donor management system in all those ways. The easier ways coming. So thank you. Thank you. And one more thing I have is, so tomorrow night we start group coaching in person. So we have not done group coaching. Oh, let's see. Let me keep letting people in. Riley's coming in. We have not done group coaching since we closed down for COVID. Because group coaching is just not something that works on Zoom. And so I am super excited for those of you who are registered for tomorrow night. So we are now going to start trickling into live events, live sessions, and whatnot, starting with tomorrow night. There are still like at least 2 spots open for tomorrow night. So if there's anybody out there who would like to join us for tomorrow night group coaching, it starts at 6 o'clock. It's in Kent. I will drop the link in the chat tonight. You can get registered for that. There is no cost to group coaching. We do still need you to register. We do just have limited seats and whatnot, but group coaching is a really fun night. Many of you do not know, even have not experienced that. I can tell you it is just always a powerful night. So I'm looking forward to it. You know, the benefit of group coaching is, you know, Art just has this ability to be able to work with people individually, couples, no matter what it is that you're dealing with. And he's really has this, this ability to be able to peel through the stuff that gets in our way of effective results. And it's really powerful in group coaching because it's almost more powerful for the people that are observing the people getting coached at the moment. You learn so much from everybody's situation, and everybody always relates to everybody. And so you really learn a lot by being part of it. And it's just a really fun deal too. It's you know, just come experience it. So if there's anybody out there not registered tomorrow night and you want to participate, I'll put the link in there. We'll be having we'll start out once or twice a month doing them. And as it continues to build and grow and we're full each week, then we'll move to, you know, more towards weekly, but really looking forward to that. So tomorrow night, looking forward to seeing people in person, being able to hug people for the first time in a long time. So let's go move it over to the crew here and get Kyle's comedy. I got to listen in last week. His jokes were really funny last week. Got to listen in from Vegas, and they totally made me laugh. So let's see what he has for us tonight. Let me remove me. Hey, Kyle.
Hi.
Take it away.
I would hope they're funny every week.
Well, you know, it's funny. You know what I discovered last week, Kyle, when I'm also operating the screen and I'm letting people in, I am distracted. And so I did find myself completely got all your jokes the first time when I watched the recording. And so sometimes it just takes me the second time because I'm multitasking and I can't concentrate, but I am certain you're always very funny. But it was extra funny when I could just focus on you. So I'm going to see how that works right now, but see, I'm letting people in. People are still coming on, but go ahead, Kyle. Everybody else can just focus on you.
Okay. Sounds great. All right. Well, I bought this book on the internet called How to Scam People Online. It hasn't arrived yet. It's been months.
You made that one up.
I wish. Like a bundle and I made it up. You know, I'm not sure if my sister knows much geography, but Alaska.
Alaska.
Yeah, okay. I bought an alarm that swears instead of beeps. It's a rude awakening. I accidentally played dad instead of dead when a bear attacked me. Now he knows how to ride a bike with no training wheels. I had this teacher back in school named Mrs. Turtle. She was weird, but she taught us well. This one's a cute one. What do you call a really excited square? An rectangle. It's a cute joke. Did you hear about the Coke addict who accidentally sniffed his grandma's ashes? He almost sniffed a whole gram. Speaking of ashes, no, When I die, I want to put my ashes in a glass urn. Remains to be seen. I asked 10 people what LGBTQ stands for. I still have to get a straight answer. What language do people speak in the middle of the earth? Korean.
Rough night tonight.
How do you get?
Yeah.
How do you get a blind person to see? Usually by a boat. Take you a minute. How was Rome split in two? Pair of Caesars. Paranoia jokes are great and all, but where do they come from?
Thank you, Kyle. All right, we're all good and ready for you, Art.
I didn't get a chance to listen to Kyle's talk last week, but I know that he was mentioning the shadow and kind of what, before I even start, I want to know that I didn't go to school for this stuff. So I didn't graduate with my master's or get a PhD in psychology or study Jungian psychology or anything like that. And everything I've done, I'm street and I've picked up along the way, and I've read a lot and kind of watched a lot and studied this stuff a lot, but in my own way. So if technically I'm not accurate in the portrayal of what Carl Jung meant when he was talking about the shadow and the persona, well, I'm sorry. But I can tell you what I think about it, or what it means to me is that as human beings, we have these two kind of sides of ourselves. We have a side of ourselves that we're willing to show the world, and that's the persona, and that's what this thing and who we show we are to the world and who we think the world wants to see. And then we have the shadow, and the shadow is this instinctual part of us, this really instinctual and deep part of us that has deeper desires, maybe evil sometimes, or maybe I don't know the exact word, but side of us that has to deal with their sexual desires and the things that we don't, and the shadow is all the parts of ourselves that the persona rejects, that the persona doesn't want the world to know. And then beyond that, there's us in the middle of that. And so you're kind of in there, and we're all in there. And so I'm in here, and I'm battling these two things, what the world thinks is okay and what I actually want for my life and what I want to do with my, with my desires. And sometimes I feel like I want to choke people, or I want to wrap my sock around their neck or something because they're frustrating me, or I don't like that person, but inside, and then I'm battling between if I show the world that or not. And, I think that part of what it means to be a drug addict is it means that you got tired of the persona. It means that you, at some point as an addict, you were tired of faking it. You were tired of putting on a show that everything is all right. You're tired of saying that, you're tired of putting up the front and saying that you enjoy going to this job that you don't, or that you enjoy going to this family thing that you don't, and all of it. You're just tired of fronting. And I think that's kind of the dilemma, because as soon as somebody gets so tired of that front that they're putting on, they use drugs, and when they do, it's gone for, maybe, and in this world right now where I think there's a real sense of unease. And for me personally, where that sense of unease is the truth just seems to be getting further and further away in every aspect of life, whether that's, with friends and family, whether that's with what we see on television, with the news, with what's going on with COVID, whatever it is, it just seems like we don't know what the truth is anymore. And the truth has become, maybe it's always been this way. It's just been revealed that the truth is obscure, that it's just, we don't know anymore what the truth is. Right. And it's mixed up in here. So now you're dealing with out there in the world about not knowing what the truth is, then not knowing the truth about who we are. What are we? Are we our persona? Are we our shadow? What is this in here? And how do we kind of integrate all these things and like figure out what we can talk to the world about? And I think truth, we used to say in here, we used to say that what we would require when people would come to these groups is truth and presence. But more and more, what I'm starting to see is that when we're present, we are truth. And there's no difference between truth and presence. It's the same thing. When I'm truth, I'm also present. And the thing about this idea that we all get together and talk, and I think it's imperative that you guys see that you're in this room together to not be a persona. You're in this room to do the work, and it's this mandatory work of not fronting, of trying to figure out how you get down to the bone of who you are. We can tell. We can tell. So one thing I do know about conversation, and I do know about what's going on, is I don't know how we find the truth, but I do know every time I see it. And I think everyone in this room knows when they see somebody being the truth, when they see somebody saying and doing whatever their truth is. And what happens, it seems like when somebody's being the truth, is that the persona goes away, and you just see this person and the words are them. And so no longer is the person here and the persona is here and the words are coming from the persona. What happens is it all collides as one. And all of a sudden, when someone speaks, you see that that's them speaking. You know now that they're talking. And I know one thing about it in here, there's a lot of times we get angry. See, what happens though, if I'm sitting present, or if I'm being my truth and I'm listening to somebody's persona, what happens is the truth rejects persona. So if you ever know that you're present, but then somebody starts talking who's not telling the truth, where does your mind go? So when somebody starts talking from persona, our mind goes away. It starts judging. It starts saying, oh, listen to this bullshit. It rolls your eyes. And we know when we're listening to the truth or when we're listening to persona. We know. We can tell. We can tell when somebody's fronting. And we call it full of shit, or we call it fake. But it's worse than that. It's worse than that. And it's worse to the problem of, well, what happens when you go along in recovery without drugs and you be your persona long enough? How long can you do that? How long can you be that before you just say, you know what, I got to be the truth? And you know what the truth is? I'm sorry, but the truth can be a meth addict looking in a mirror, picking his face. That's the truth. It doesn't have to be great. It doesn't have to be beautiful, but there's no persona there. There's no front. And a truth can be people living in a homeless camp right now. They're true. They're not putting on a front. A truth can be people in jail right now, prison. There's all types of ways that we can get rid of our persona. And there's ways and times we get relief from that. That's why a lot of people tell me when they get to jail, they're happier. They're actually happier in jail. And people are happier because they're not putting on a front about how they got their life together. They're not having to answer to authority and say, I like this and this is good. They're not having to do these fake things. And I think that in here, and when we speak, our goal is this job to actually get the persona talk long enough. So everyone always says, well, people need to be heard. No, they don't. They do not need to be heard from persona. People want to talk from persona. Nobody needs to hear you. There's nothing that can be said from persona that's important. So, but when you've been heard from the truth of who you are, because that day lightened you. That day made it a little better. That day you came and you said something. And speaking from the truth rather than persona is like when you hit a good golf shot. When you hit a nice shot right down the fairway, it makes you want to come back. And so part of what, for me, what's very difficult is that for whatever reason, when drug addicts aren't using drugs and when people are coming together, what makes things very difficult is the persona. It's not the shadow. That's not what makes things difficult, because people are got that too buried and too hidden. Nobody's even going to talk about that. But what makes it difficult is that everyone is presenting. And what's worse than everyone presenting is that if you tell them that they're presenting, they will say, no, I'm not. So they don't even know they're presenting. So the persona, when somebody's acting from persona, the presentation that they want their personality to look like for the rest of the world, when they're acting from that, they don't know that they don't know that it's not real. And so as you come here and learn this stuff, I think that what you need to really, really start questioning is, when is the last time you spoke from truth? And what happens in conversation, you know, with relationships, what happens in relationships is we have to talk to each other long enough. Meaning we have to talk long enough until the persona goes away. Until we come out. So I wouldn't say the truth, I would say we, until we come out. And you'll see that people get comfortable enough with each other to do that sometimes. But the important part about this idea that you want to be heard, well, then tell the truth. Nobody telling the truth, nobody stating their truth is ever not heard. The people that aren't heard are talking bullshit, and presence and truth is rejecting it. So when people say, I'm never heard by anyone, that's because you're always telling people what they want to hear. You're telling people, you're trying to look good, or you're trying to complain, or you're trying to blame. Do you know blaming and complaining are persona? That's not true. That's not true. What blaming and complaining is you trying to look good for your problems. You trying to look important. It's a show. So blaming and complaining and justifying and all these forms of persona, they're not true, but you want to be heard from that. And see, that's a problem, because you got to get that out of the way, because nobody's listening. Nobody ever is listening to your problems as truth. They're not, until you get down underneath it. And you might get down underneath it. You might figure out a better way to say it that doesn't blame the other person, or you might actually just say the truth of what's going on with your current experience. But I want you to really get kind of settled in on what's going on here, because there's stuff in your life, thoughts. There's thoughts that you have that you would never tell the world. And then there's what you're presenting to the world. And these two things are like in there colliding. And then there's you in the middle of this. And you have to now, your job, if you want that job, and I don't want that job, the job becomes that you become this like filter of untruth. You become this thing that kind of lets out what it wants to let out, but keeps back what it doesn't want. And all of a sudden you start becoming heavier. We talked this morning about energy being light or heavier, people vibrating at a higher or lower frequency. And I would say that people vibrating at a lower frequency do so because there's so much not true there. There's so much thickness. There's so much they haven't said. There's so many thoughts that they've kept to themselves because they're scared to tell the world. So they sit in the world encompassed by thoughts they don't want people to know about. They sit stuck. And then there's people that are free, and people that say everything, people that will say and be willing to do it. See, but here's the deal. Speaking from persona, guess what? There's no risk. Go ahead. There's no risk. But see, the reason people keep doing it is because it's not risky. What's risky is when you actually say your truth. Mm-hmm. Because when you say your truth, you have to fucking stand for it. And guess what? People are going to judge you when you say your truth. So why don't you just say whatever current group wants you to say? Why don't you just mix in and just fit in and just say whatever you think people want to hear? Because that's persona, and that's a lot cool. That seems to be a lot easier than having to be unique, than having to actually be the truth in who you are and actually have to say it. But I'll tell you what, your very survival depends on the fact whether you can right now in your life start being who you are. Start getting down to the bones of getting rid of the persona, claiming your shadow, saying it's there, saying there's an existence of it, saying, yes, I have all these thoughts. I have them all the time. And yes, I'm not a nice person. And yes, I don't really always care about people. And when you start saying all that shit, and no, I don't have it together, and man, I want to kick that person's ass, and geez, that person's a piece of shit. Somebody today in group told me I was bullshit. But guess what? It didn't bother me at all, because when the person said it, they said it from the dead square truth of who they were. And I didn't get upset at all. It wasn't even upsetting at all. I went, oh, that's how he feels right now. Ooh, it backed me out. I went, oh, that's how he feels right now. He ain't making it up. Then there's sometimes when I'm very angry at this house, and it's because I'm talking to somebody's persona, some bullshit they want me to think about them, some bullshit they think I care that they look better than they did yesterday, or that they're doing better than they are. I don't give a shit. I don't care how bad you're doing. In fact, I'd rather know how bad it is if you were telling me the truth than how good anything is. Tell me.
Yeah,
Tell
so
me
if
how
you're sitting
sad-
in my facility, things aren't going too good for
That's
you.
right. And you don't need it. You don't need to put on a show that that's how it is. So here we are in the middle of this thing. As human beings, we're filtering out what the world sees. We're holding back. We're not letting things out. And every time we're holding back and not telling our thoughts and not letting everything out, not sharing, yeah, that's not being heard. And then what we squeak out and what we tell people is what we think they might think looks good. So we let that out for the day. And that's what we call speaking and connecting. No, it's on you to connect with this world. It ain't on the world to connect with you. It's on you to be heard. It ain't on no one to fucking hear you. I hate the idea that somebody says, I'm never heard. You suck. That's why. You don't tell the truth. That's why you're not heard. Empower people to be heard. No, nobody's going to do that for you. You want to be heard, say your truth. Now, guess what? It's going to take balls. Because you might say it, and guess what? Nobody might like you. Fine. You might not fit in with this group. You might have to find another one.
Or they're going to say, we've known that the whole time.
Yes. Or they're going to say, thank you for finally saying it. That's right. That's right.
Hannah made a really good point yesterday, or not a really good point, but she said something that kind of rang with me. That she said, like, when somebody's talking and they seem to talk too much, their voice loses validity.
Mm-hmm.
Their voice, they're just talking to talk.
Yeah.
Right?
Somebody told me, it was actually.
Somebody told Hannah that when she talks so much, your voice actually loses validity. It loses that power. And from what you're saying right now, it all makes sense. It has to be that it's because that person it's talking in persona.
Well,
And it's
for me,
otherwise they're talking in truth, and it always has power.
always good. Personally, I could listen to somebody like a Jordan Peterson or a Joe Rogan or anyone that I feel speaks from truth. I can listen to it forever. I love it. And I'm not just on one side. There's people on all sides of the spectrum that are very truthful, that I don't care what their thing is, as long as they're saying the truth. And they're fascinating people to listen to over and over and over. So I don't think our voice, I think persona loses validity. I think that's the thing. Just letting people hear what you think people want to hear. Coming here and giving lip service. Coming here and giving lip service about what you think people want you to do. Who cares? Nobody cares. This job of recovery, what it is, hey, I need to get, and I'm telling you, the truth is ever more and more elusive these days. So it's even more imperative that you get to the place that you find yours. That today, I'm sorry, I didn't say anything because people wanted me to say it. I can't. I won't allow it. I say today only things that I feel to be true in my experience. And I have to, and everything depends upon it. And I also have to let and acknowledge my thoughts from the shadow part of my being, because that part, I have to tell you, I'm not nice. These thoughts aren't nice, and they're here with me. I'm not always, and there's things I have to let out about that. I can't fake it that doesn't exist, because it exists. And guess what? When we're sitting in a room and we're listening to persona, just remember, and that's what I want people to take from this. Truth rejects persona. Presence rejects persona. We can see it, and you need to know that for yourself, that if your words are being rejected, that's because it's persona. Because everyone knows your truth will never be rejected. You just haven't said it yet. You're not saying it, but the truth is never rejected. In fact, worse than it not being rejected, the truth makes people cry, makes people tear up. You remember when you and I had a conversation today and I was tearing up? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because it makes you cry, because somebody's saying something that fucking matters, because everything said from persona does not fucking matter. Not one thing matters from persona. I'm doing great. I'm doing fine. Don't fucking matter. Hey, I really care for you. Doesn't fucking matter. Hey, I like that. Don't matter. Nothing from persona matters. It's a goddamn show. I'd rather you did drugs. Don't do that literally, but really, it's more truthful. There's no one down in Seattle putting on a show. That's why they're free. And that's why people say, well, how can anyone live like that? Well, guess what? A lot of people are saying, how can anyone live like this? How can you wake up, go sell encyclopedias of whatever the hell you do, and tell people you like it? How do you do that? How do you continue to fake it? How do you be with a woman that you don't want to be with and tell everyone you love her? How do you do that? How do you live that way? I don't know. To me, I don't know. Van on a beach, being truthful seems a lot better than faking it. I couldn't have done this job living with people probably for about 5 years of my recovery. The first years, because living here and putting on a persona would be too much work. If I was worried that you guys would tell people how I really am, then I would have to fake it all day. And if I had to fake it all day, it would be exhausting. And I would be looking for salvation. I would be looking to move out of this house so I could go somewhere and live somewhere where I didn't have to fake it all day. Yeah. And that's why people need to leave this program. Because they're faking it all day and they want to go live somewhere where they don't have to fake it. They're faking they like people when they don't. They're faking that they want to be a certain way when they don't want to be that way. And so they're going, Jesus, let me get to my own place so I don't have to fake it anymore. Well, the problem isn't that you're here. The problem is that you're faking it. I've lived here for 2 years already. I'll do another dime. Stretch. Trust me, if I have to, and I'll be just fine. That's because this is what you get. And guess what? How you build trust with people, that's how you build trust. That's why this program has become more effective than it was before, because there's no persona that you're having to wade through to figure it out. And we can gain trust. Me and Tyler trust each other more than we ever have. Absolutely. That's right. Because there's no show. There's no front. This is what it is. So you want people and you want your relationships. There's a couple things I want to take out of that. One, talk. This idea that we have to have conversations until we find each other. Well, how long does that take? I don't know. Because when you come back together and you haven't seen each other in a while, or it's been all day, then you're going to want to you're going to talk about what it should look like and what you think the person should want to hear. And you're going to do all that bullshit first. But if you just keep talking long enough, you'll hit a nice golf shot. And you'll say some truth. And as soon as you say truth and their truth, they're present to that truth. Guess what that is? That's connection. So as soon as that happens, now you've connected, but only when that happens. But you will not connect with anyone until the persona's gone and truth meets truth. And then you can connect. And how do you do that? Well, you have to talk until it goes away. Because guess what? When you're going to talk to somebody, what's driving there to talk to that person? What are you going with? You're going with what you want to look like. You're going with what it should sound like and what you should say and how you want it to look and how you want to look. And all those thoughts are in your head when you're going to talk to somebody. And then maybe what they did, whatever. And then you talk long enough and they get to see the persona go away and you just tell your truth. And then guess what? You connect, but only then. So today, if you're feeling disconnected, if you feel that you haven't connected with people, that's you. That's because you didn't get real today. And I'm sorry. And if you think you're going to live day after day in recovery and not get real, good luck. Good luck. You're just going to get more stuffed up. You're going to get more heavy. You're going to have more thoughts encompassing you. You're going to be more further away from the truth. And finally, what you're going to do is you're just going to get high. And then you get high, and guess what you do? Maybe you'll just be present and pick at this for 9 hours. Maybe you'll just listen to music. Maybe you'll do something, but it won't be the concern of the persona. You won't be sitting there trying to look like you aren't. And what a relief that is. What a relief it is to like put it down. To go, oh, this is what I really want to be doing. So I think for me, that's what's going on in here. What I'm trying to do is connect with people. And to do that, if we just come have a little interaction, hey, how are you? How are you? That's just persona meeting persona. We just pass each other by. And then we do that thing where we small talk. How's your day? Oh, I got a new car and I got this and that. That's all bullshit. So you have to go long enough with people and talk deep enough where at least with one person throughout your day, you're going to connect. You have to.
Yeah, some of the deepest connections that you and I have had is right there on the front porch when we're out there.
Or after we got mad at each other.
Right. You know what I mean? Just sitting there and you know, and not being afraid of what we look like.
Mm-mm.
Not being afraid to say what's on your mind at that time. You know what I mean? And yeah, at first, it sucks to be in that reactor position, but that reactor position sometimes is the truth.
That's right. That's
You know
more
what I mean?
truthful than anything else.
And that's what's, once you get in that position and you're able to feel that truth, that's, I believe, why it's so fast to be able to come back out of that position and get back into the number 2 position is because now you've seen and you've heard, you know, what's going on and the straight truth instead of the persona that you've been living in.
And the best thing that kind of jars the persona loose is a little anger.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes, you know, you get a little anger, you get a little frustration, and that persona jars loose and the person shows up. And then it might be reactive, it might be difficult. But for me, the best times I've connected with anyone in this program is after they finally lost it. After they got angry either with me or life or whatever it is, and we got angry with each other. And then you actually stay and you keep talking until the truth shows up. And I really want to encourage people to understand that, you know, I really have had another dose of what happens when people are in a relationship with each other and they don't share every thought. I know you think it's so benign, but it's not. And I will tell you over and over that, you know, sharing thoughts clears up truth. It gets you down to like maybe, but you got to share them in a way. You got to do it. You got to keep saying it because things build, and you can't let build up happen because you're not going to be able to get to the truth anymore. You're too thick.
Covered, yeah.
You're too covered. You're too covered in what happened last week and what happened the day before, and what happened 2 weeks ago, and what that person did to you then, and what they did to you then. You got to say something every time. Everything depends upon it. Now, you can't accuse every time. You can't belittle every time, but you say, hey, this is what you just did, you know, and so your husband doesn't tell you you look good on your birthday or when you're going out to dinner, and that bugs you, but you don't say anything. Why? And then all of a sudden they remember that and things start getting worse. And then another one piles on and then another one piles on. And before you know it, the bed's made. There's no more truth. So this in here stuff, this experience of recovery, God damn, it's good, but it's so much deeper. It's not get a job. It's not get some money. It's not that. Of course you need those things, but it's the work. It's actually going, listen, I got to get deeper I got to find it. Maybe I don't even know how to find me, who the truth is in here. I don't even know anymore.
So you can keep those job and money long term.
That's right. That's right.
Squander
So you don't
away,
just
dude.
toss it away
Yeah.
because you're a fraud.
Yeah. Right.
And then people say you need to find purpose. You need to find this and that. Purpose without truth, it's just another persona. Yes, nothing. So what you need to find is you need to find truth. It's the only thing we connect with is truth. That's it. Look, what else do you connect with? Even if it's a television show what if it's a television show with bad acting? We don't connect with that. We need to see good acting that seems true, that makes us cry, that makes us feel. And I think it's massively important to see your own persona and to see what you're putting forth and to see why and stop. And then to spend this time with yourself to learn what you actually stand for, what you actually want to say, the people that you actually want to be around. You know,
And in order to do any of this, you have to put the ego aside.
you have to put the persona aside. You gotta open up and admit that there's a shadow. There's work. It's so much work. And it ain't just going through the motions, man. If you didn't sit with somebody today and talk, if you haven't told your truth, good luck. Good luck. I mean, I don't know what else we're doing here. But doing things because you think that's what people want from you.
Never gonna make it.
You're
man.
never gonna make it.
Fucking, you're done, dude.
Yes.
That's where I'm at right now, kind of. Yeah. It's like you're so fucked.
Yeah, not saying listen, somebody has something they've done and they ask you to not tell people. Now, how long are you going to live that? Now you're not the truth. Yeah, you want to live that way? The reason you got loaded in the first place is the hypocrisy. You can't see that. Can't see that there's so many people getting high with the hypocrisy of their family, the hypocrisy of the fakeness, saying we want to be together when we don't. Everyone going to the birthday party as a family and nobody really wants to be there. So 5 different carloads of people driving to the same function, all talking shit about each other. And you wonder why somebody's up in the bathroom getting loaded? Because that's the only sane place to be. Up in the bathroom getting loaded is the only sane place to be if you're going to sit around with 10 people that don't like each other faking it. That is ridiculous. And we're all going to not share our thoughts because we don't want to upset anybody and we don't want to get into any hot topics and we don't want to get into any debates. It's all bullshit. Who do you want to get into debates with? The neighbor? I don't want to get into debates with my family. Then who? Who do you want to debate? Somebody you don't care about? Why? So you win? What are you going to win? The purpose of getting into debates, the purpose of getting into these conversations is connection and to come to a place where we go, we see it similar. You win. You got me to see it your way. Thank God you got me to win. I love seeing it your way.
It's a relief.
Yes. I see where you're coming from now. I was so mad at you. I couldn't stand you because I couldn't see where you were coming from. But we talked long enough and you said your truth. And when I saw you say the truth, I now know where you're coming from. But if you want to talk to people and just tell them, just debate to be an antagonist, debate to take the other side, debate just to debate because you want to be right, that ain't gonna go nowhere. It's got to be the truth. It's got to be your truth. And my nephew had great debate. I saw his truth. There's nothing I can say. That's his truth. I don't have a problem with it. What can I say? Thank you for showing me. Now I'm so relieved because I was so mad at you. But now that we've talked, relief. You're not just giving me lip service. It's not just something you made up and your friends taught you, and you're just bullshitting it because your friend told you to bullshit this way. Slam poetry. Get the one person up on the stage that believes it to be true and they're really good at it. And then other people think it's a good idea and they're not true at it. It's terrible. I've seen it, you know. But somebody that's good at it, whoa, blow you away, you'll bawl. You'll cry. But somebody that thinks it looks good to do, don't go do that. You sound terrible. You look funny up there.
You don't look good.
You don't look good. You just think it's a good persona to put onto the world that you're a poet. No, it's not. All right. So that's what we're dealing with. That's kind of what we have to worry about. It's kind of what we have to dig into. What did I just say that for? Was I speaking from what I want people to think?
No.
Or was I saying it true? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like everything the process of the work that I'm talking about comes from like looking back over yourself, kind of analyzing it and going, last night when I was talking, oh shit, I was speaking all from purely what I thought people wanted to hear. These things fell off for me, you know. They still show back up, but they fall off. Sometimes I sit around people that I don't know. I'm sitting around the poker table and the persona shows up. And when you're around different people you're not used to, it shows up again. My friends were off.
They're a little higher social status.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, we could all be sitting right here and somebody we completely don't know. Somebody could just walk in, 50-year-old person, we don't know, we've never even seen them before, and they just go and they come and sit in the corner. We would all be on heightened alert. We would all bring out the persona. Oh,
Some smoking hot chicken.
Yeah.
bars.
yeah.
Some hot
Oh,
chicken,
yeah.
man.
Yeah. Some
New
good.
girl in treatment.
Yes, all the personas come out.
I gotta go to the gym tomorrow.
Yeah, shirts come off and personas come out.
Everyone's working out.
Yeah, I haven't seen some guys around here. I haven't seen take a shower for a couple weeks. A new girl shows up to the meeting. They all come out in the shower with their shirts off.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, dude, I haven't even seen you shower in a couple weeks. Now you're not even having your shirt on. Whoa. Yeah, shirts off, personas out. This is what I want to present to her. Grab a book. The book says like financial investing.
Yeah.
You know, he picks up a book on financial investing. He's reading the book. Oh, what are you reading? Oh, just a book on invest. I gotta get my portfolio up.
I wrote this. It's my book, actually.
Yeah,
I wrote it.
working on my portfolio.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The book's like How to Make Your Second Million. What's the first? Well, I already did the first one. We're good. Really? Why do you live here?
Yeah.
I own it.
Yeah, oh, just helping out.
Co-founder.
Yeah.
You should see my baseball cards.
Yeah. Why are we so scared of each other? And that's what it is. God, we're just so scared of each other. You know, we're so scared of what each person, you're in a room with one person. Just think of how it feels riding in an elevator alone, and then how it feels when one person gets on that elevator with you. Just how different that is. It's a big difference. Soon as that person gets on the elevator, we start getting self-conscious. Oh, should I touch the button? Should I not touch the button? you know, you know.
What if you got a fart?
We're on, yeah. If you're on the elevator farting, oh man,
Yeah.
if you're by yourself,
Or
you're just
somebody else
sweating.
sitting there,
Yeah.
and you.
Yeah, I mean, just think how scared we are. God, I hope this other human being doesn't know that I fart. Whoa. What will they think of me?
Complete stranger. They'll never see again.
Yeah. Just think of that. And then it's easier when we're with one person, really scary. It's easier with two more. It's easier with four. Four people get on. No big deal.
So it's easier to be the person getting on
Oh,
than
yeah.
the person like already in.
Yeah. But that persona is so ingrained in us. You know, we didn't have it when we were 5. We didn't go to school in 5. We weren't walking at 6th grade or 1st grade. We weren't going, wondering that day what everyone was going to think of us.
What if you were though? You
Yeah.
Maybe.
just fucked in life.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I feel like I felt
Same
like
with
that.
me.
I remember looking around the playground and feeling like the people around me were free, and I was like, because they're running around being all crazy, and I'm like, I couldn't do that. And
Yeah.
I remember the moment like where I looked around and was like, there's something here, like I'm scared.
Just think of what you've been living with since that day. Since that day, we've been living with that. Since that first time it came in and the voice in our head said, watch out, be this way.
You're gonna look bad.
You're going to look bad.
Gave the wrong answer.
We've been dealing with that ever since. And now we have to like reverse this thing. Now we have to learn to like try just a little bit of our day, just some of our day without that. Just a little bit. Even if it's like 5 minutes where we just say some truth when we're not concerned. We're more concerned with getting it out than we are with what it looks like. Just a minute. Just any, and then, we're rejuvenating just from that one thing that I said. It's like such a relief. I see people come to these groups and I see them all bottled up, and then I see the relief afterwards. Afterwards, they go out here and they're joking and they're happy, and we see what happens in here when people tell the truth. Such a relief. It's like drug use. Really. It's like when you tell the truth, you get high.
Instant shot of serotonin.
Yeah. So you see, man, what a bunch of work. You know, because we got to get rid of that fear so that we can do it. Because that fear is what's blocking us. We don't want to be a persona, but we're scared. We're scared to risk it. Geez, just think of all the people in the world right now that don't want to say their truth about masks. The truth about anything. They'll say it. They'll say it to some person when they're driving in a car. They'll say it to their closest confidant.
Right. I'll put a microphone on them, put them
Oh.
on television.
Oh God, I can't say what I think.
Right.
I'll get canceled.
Yeah.
Jeez. Be the end of me. Won't even be able to make any money. Well, what'd you say? I said, I don't think we should be wearing masks. You did? You dummy. Shit, they're never going to listen to you again, you dummy. I mean, seriously. I said, I don't really trust the vaccine. You did. Oh my God. Nobody's going to go to your business ever again. You're out. You got to say the things that people want you to say, man. Jeez. Remember the feeling? I was talking about masks in December on here and they started logging off. Oh! Oh shit, they're logging off. Hey, somebody sell the house. Fuck, shut the program down. What Art do? Oh, he said something. Oh, he said something he thought? Yes.
Copy.
Dummy.
Copy and paste.
Yeah. Next week, I'm sorry I said it. Please come back and listen.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Don't say what you think. Might get your head chopped off. Man. What happened to Art? Never heard from again. Took off his mask and left. Oh shit.
And there you go, COVID.
Did everyone stop donating? No one would donate any more money. Couldn't help another addict. Why? Did he say something about addiction? No. No. He had an opinion. Oh, we shouldn't have done that. And then there's Trump, the only immune person in the entire world. He just can say, oh, he's immune.
He got banned from all social media.
Oh, that don't matter. They'll just make him a new one.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody,
Yeah.
guys,
Banned? I didn't know that.
yeah, he don't
Yeah.
care. The only thing that hurts is the social media organization. They're not getting all the followers. I mean, the guy, you know. All right. Anyone got any problems, issues, coaching?
Let's open it up. Let's open it up, everybody. So, any questions, comments, anybody needing a coaching moment, anything like that? Just use the raise your hand feature. I'm raising my hand. I just use the raise your hand feature, or if you can't figure how to do that on your device, you can unmute yourself. You can wave at me. However you get our attention. Sherry Pennington, let's get you in the spotlight. She's got a chat question here. Let's just get you right up here. Is the persona equal to ego? Sherry's asking.
You know, I mean, I think for me, I don't know. I mean, yes, but I'm not, you know, I think that we all got this voice in our head, and then you got to sort it out. And, you know, I think people have been used to calling ego like this thing that only the loud people have. They're egotistical, or this guy's got a big ego. And I think everyone's ego is equal sized. It's just different. Some people present this, some people present that. Some people's voice in their head tells them that they're shy. And then a shy person, that's a person with a big ego. And we wouldn't consider somebody with shy with a big ego, but it's a big protective way of being that they present shyness to the world. And they call that, and that's very egotistical. No different than the guy that presents his Corvette or presents whatever he presents. So yes, but I'm not, like I said, if you wanted to really look at these terms from a psychological studies point of view, I don't know if I would be accurate in how I describe it. I think.
I mean, persona isn't that all? It's like all fraudulent information, or is it, or not?
No,
it's just a record, or is it image you want to perceive?
Yeah,
People perceive. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not necessarily like it's a personality.
Right.
Just
multiple personas.
Yes.
So you're this person at work, but you go home and you're not that person.
That's right.
Or
Yeah.
you know, you work and then you're a different person with your friends.
That's right.
You know, it's persona.
Yep.
Okay.
And I think the work is what, you know, Watts or Alan Watts or what everyone called the work of integration. So that all these things, the shadow, the work of integration, to integrate, to become one, to become like, I don't think that anyone on here, and the reason I say it is simply, this is the work that I've done in my life. And I don't know if anyone in here, and anyone here or on here would ever run into an art they didn't know. You just wouldn't. And that's because of the work I've done with integration, meaning I'm the same way with Hannah as I am with Angie, as I am with parents, as I am with everyone. There's no different person. No matter who came to this group tonight, whether it was Barack Obama or Donald Trump or whoever it is, I'm giving you the same thing that I have. This is who I am. And that's the work that we're talking about, is to just get down to integrating so that you're not a different person with your boss and your parents, and you're the same person all the time. And that's what we want, because that's the easiest, practical way to live.
Yeah.
It's the only way to live. It's freedom. But see, if you're sitting here now and I'm not here tonight, and you're acting one way, and then and that might be true that you're acting that way. That might be who you are. But then I come in and you act differently. That's hard work. And why do we do it? We do it from fear. We do it from like really want, that fearful place of whatever.
So
yeah,
you
for me-
you mentioned that before. You said it's a fear of judgment. So it's a fear of judgment from when, that's why you wear that like persona at work versus that persona at home, right? Is that right?
No, that could be true, but also a persona is an identity. It could just be a strategy. It could be how you think that you're going to best make it.
Okay.
So if people,
Sometimes it's necessary, like at work when I'm on a call with like a first time buyer, like a multi-million-dollar client, like I'm gonna present myself as not the truth. Like,
Well,
I mean, there's gonna be some, but I have to put on a persona to almost match theirs a little.
but
bit.
I think that the end goal for a salesperson, if you look at these like extreme successful billionaire sales guys, there's not a persona anymore. There's not. They're just who they are. They get to a point where they go, hey man, I'm going to sell you this. And it's straight up. And I think that would be why sales would be a great job for people that are in this program.
Yeah, I mean, it's better business tactic, in my opinion, to be straight up and honest and try to more or less be fraudulent and have this like fakeness when you're trying to more win
it's like,
client over.
Like just look when you're in your life and your voice changes. You ever see that? Like we see that here. We see that when people make phone calls. Katie's real good at this one.
Oh, yeah.
If you ever hear Katie on the phone talking to someone, it's like, Jesus, who was that? The respect you just gave them, I mean, and it's like, whoa, can you fake it here a little more with us? I mean, really.
Are you saying like there's a good and a bad persona? Like we all know what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah.
And so you can go to work and do what's right and go home and do what's right. And that's not bad.
No.
That's like, that tactic or whatever. But
no.
If you're a completely different person, you're completely fraud.
Yes.
You're fraudulent.
Well, I don't know if you would know, but I think some people get so scared that they just become what the other person wants them to be.
Yeah.
And they just, wherever they're at, they are what that person wants them to be.
Yeah, like growing up, that's how it was with my parents and my family. Kind of like I would always, when they weren't around, I was completely different. And when they would show up, I had to more or less,
and that's
act
hard
a certain
work.
way. Yeah, it sucks.
It's hard work.
Yeah.
So and I think that we're always going to be operating under the voice in our head, which to me, that's what the ego is the voice in our head. This kind of thing that's here with us, and then we're always going to have that kind of there, and then there's going to be that telling us to be different personas. And like get an example where it shows back up. The persona always shows back up when we're fearful, when we want to impress. It's a strategy. So it's a strategy we think is necessary to get the job done. So if I'm at a poker table with all these guys that I'm trying to impress, and we're all trying to show what big studs we are and what we have, I remember when I started doing this work that it started to be very embarrassing when I realized that I was just operating under like a real bad persona for a while. So they were all talking about buying homes, and I had this and luckily I had a person had just sent me one that I was going to make an offer on, and it was like an $800,000 home. And this was like 4 or 5 years ago. So I was like, oh, you guys are buying houses, and then I was like, oh, well, look at what I'm making an offer on tonight, and then I went up to the room and was like, oh God, so embarrassing, and then you're just like, why the fuck would I show that picture? And then you work at trying to stop this shit. You work at not doing it, because you start, just like drugs, you start realizing the pain of when you do it.
Yeah,
start
well,
realizing
you gotta keep that image up too. Something like, hey, how'd that house sale go?
Oh, yeah.
We're going pretty good.
Yeah. It's like how many people I've seen on Facebook post that they're going to go sign up to get their masters. I've seen people post that like over and over and over. Going back to school to get my master's. Well, did you get it? Well, no. But then all the rewards that come into that person when they post that post, the likes, the comments,
Congratulations.
it's like they already got it.
Yeah.
Why would you even now go to do it? And so all those type of things. I think some people think it's okay. I mean, but I don't think it's okay. I don't think that, it's like Solution Group, all these families driving, it used to be in Federal Way. And just think, all the truth is driving to the Solution Group. You just imagine all these cars driving, the truths are driving, and then Persona shows up for an hour and a half. And Persona shows up for an hour and a half and everyone plays, oh, good, this is good, nice, how are you, how's your son? Everybody's playing it and doing it, and then they get back in the car, oh, geez, did you see that idiot? And, and then all of a sudden the truth's back in the car, and it's like, wow, what are we doing here? What are we doing? And that's,
what was that, Bill? Bill has something.
Yeah, that's.
We're laughing.
I'm sorry, I just don't have that recollection of how everybody goes in their car and says, "That Chris Durst, he's an idiot."
We were talking about you, Art.
I don't remember that happening. I do have a serious question though. Why is it such an unlevel playing field when you talk about truth sometimes? It seems like truth always comes in the negative. And I whenever it's brought up, I think sometimes it's harder to say something lighthearted or positive from a truthful standpoint than it is something negative. Because if you say something positive, that's good, people kind of look at you, well, there's a goody two shoes, or there's somebody who doesn't see reality. But it just seems like in the context tonight, the truth is coming from a negative. I just wonder what you think of that. It's just like, it has to have a negative connotation. If something's truthful, it has to be.
Does it?
Well, I'm asking.
I get what you're saying. I think though, let me, and I think.
Like, you're not being truthful unless you have something derogatory to say about somebody or something.
Now, I will say, and I can look at, and I think that why you would have a hard time with this is because of the way your life in particular is set up and how you feel about the world and where you're coming from. And as people.
Oh, I have plenty of down moments, I assure you, but it's just that I think I don't know. I just see it's difficult. I'm just saying it's difficult sometimes that all these.
Yeah, but Bill, imagine if you lost your home now. Imagine if your son has passed from addiction. You've lost your home. You've got some own problems of your own. Your wife and you are not getting along. You're really unhappy with each other and your life's at a bottom. And now, if your life's at that bottom and you want to start saying truth, it probably won't be, hey, my neighbor's really a great guy. And that will be a fraudulent way to be. But when you've got your life to a point where it's not good and things aren't manageable, and it's a position where you don't generally, it's, for instance, if I'm at the casino and I'm losing all my money and I'm down, and then somebody next to me wins a huge jackpot and I'm standing there giving them lip service about how goddamn happy I am for them when I'm not. But if I've won millions myself and I'm sitting in the casino and my life's all straight and somebody else wins a jackpot, I'm like, great, man. Good job. So I think the truth is, for people who are having a hard time, it starts with the truth might be negative. The truth might be hard. It might be like that until the point you work your life up into the point where you're actually saying positive things to people that is true. And that's had to be a lot of work for me to get to the point where I feel like I can do that.
Yeah, but there's also, even if you're talking about something that would be considered negative, if you're sharing it with somebody in group, there is something positive in that. You got it. It's how you look at it. I mean, to me,
I said the truth here makes us cry. I said it brings out tears. I said we know
it brings us closer together.
It brings us closer together. I say we know it when we see it, and I say
that's my only point. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Is there is. It just seems like
we're focused on the negatives.
Yeah, it just seems like it's skewed. I mean, everything, self-centeredness, all these aspects of self always come from a negative standpoint. There aren't a whole lot of attributes of self that are positive. Most of them are
okay. Negative. Well, let me ask you this: if you're sitting there and in your head, are you sitting there and then you're around somebody and all the thoughts that are going in your head are how great the person is? Is that what's going on? And then that's going on how great this person is, and wow. And then you say something positive because what's going on in your experience is, man, this person is beautiful, or this person is so kind, and this person is so nice. And those are the thoughts going on in your head. And then you go, wow, I just got to tell you, you're beautiful, or you're kind, or you're gentle, or whatever. Well, that would be your truth. But what if the thoughts that are going on is, wow, this person's totally full of shit. This person really, they're kind of annoying and they're full of shit. And then you say, hey man, I really like you.
No.
See, that's the problem. And that's the problem with starting out that way. It took me a long time before I could truly, honestly compliment people. I had to really do a lot of work of feeling okay with myself before those thoughts were true. They just weren't true. And then I said them. I've been, and we have people here that say that we know their life's a mess. They're struggling. They're having all these negative thoughts. And then they tell somebody here, they go, hey man, I really care about you. And it's a collective eye roll when somebody says that here. Everyone goes, no, stop. You don't need to say that. Or this other great premise that people start. Hey, I'm about to destroy you and tell you all the things that I don't like about you, but I'm going to start out by saying, hey, dude, you know what? I really care about you, so you need to hear this. Yeah. And then I go on to tell somebody all the shit that's wrong with them. Why'd you say the first part? Why'd you tell the person? Why'd you preface it with how much you care? That's what they want to hear. Yeah, and that's what we're talking about.
I think you preface it with that if you're scared to get clapped back.
Yeah. Yeah, yes. Good defense mechanism.
Thanks,
or maybe
Wigan.
It's not true that you care about them. Yeah.
Can't wait to see you guys tomorrow night.
All right. See you tomorrow.
See, I want somebody, it's like that Seinfeld episode. Did you ever see the Seinfeld episode where they go see the baby?
Yeah.
Okay. They go and they travel to see the baby. And the baby is like disgusting looking. The baby is
show the baby though.
Yeah, they don't, but the baby's horrendous. And then the person says like something real positive about the baby. And then later on, it's breathtaking.
Elaine gets called breathtaking.
Yeah, and then later on, Elaine gets called breathtaking by the person. See, that's what I don't want to hear.
So hold on a second.
I don't want, yeah. And my friend Jared at Allo, we had the same conversation because he would come to my group, he would listen to my ideas, and he kept telling me they were great. Everything I did was great. He's like, Art, you're great. You're great. Everything you do is great. And then he would say that about everyone. And I go, dude, stop telling me I'm fucking great, dude. I don't want to hear it. You're great means shit to me because you fired about 10 people that you told me were great. So it don't mean shit to me. Stop. You know, and in my life right now, I give very little compliments, but when I do, you know, I goddamn meant it. And that's it. Because I don't have all these generally, to be brutally honest, I don't have all these glorious positive thoughts all day about everybody. If I did, then that's what I'd be spreading. But instead, I have thoughts about, hey, man, this person's lying. This person isn't. That's what's going on in my head. So I let you know. I don't know how to be any other way. I can't generate what I don't have. I just can't generate it and fake it. I have what I have. And if I give you a compliment, that's because I fucking saw the truth and I meant it. And that's what I felt. And that's all I got. I don't got it any other way. This over complimenting people, this telling people stuff's good. Why? It's kind of ridiculous. What? Positive affirmations?
Well, if you're not thinking them,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Positive. Well, I mean, yeah, maybe they do. If they do, then you'll know it's the truth when they tell you it. But you see those people looking in the mirror, I am great, I am loved, I am. Oh, okay. Do you believe that? No, but if I say it enough, you know.
or your actions, like even like putting that off, man. Like, you know, your actions doing that to people, or are you just trying to like convince yourself that's who you are?
I gave you guys some top secret about I don't name drop very often because I don't have any names to drop. And I don't get around stars or anything, but we did go to Dr. Drew's house, and I will tell you that he's a big fan of positive affirmations. And the reason I know this is I went into Dr. Drew's bathrooms, and they were all over the mirror. I am great. I am awesome. So Dr. Drew stands in his bathroom and repeats how great he is to the mirror. I was like, oh, Drew, these are cool. Yeah. Well, do you believe it? Well, if you believe it, good. Then why you got to say it? Okay.
What if you don't believe it and your thoughts are about yourself are very, very negative, and it's like subconscious, and you know, you just kind of are stuck in like, I can't do it, I don't know how, whatever. And then, you know, is there anything to trying to say I can do it and I, you know, am capable or whatever over and over until maybe you believe it? I mean, maybe.
Well, I don't know.
I would go back. He said he's not a professional. He's not a psychiatrist. He never went to school for any of this stuff.
No, I'm just saying, like, it's,
So,
No.
you know, it's like,
I don't do that, but maybe I can do that.
But I think more so people should be concerned with what we're saying tonight, which is be the truth. I think a better way to get to the point of if you're a person who has negative thoughts about yourself, if you're a person who doesn't think highly of himself, is not positive, if you're there, well, you know what I would do? I would share that truth with people. I would say, this is the way I think of myself. I would say, this is how hard my life, you know, this is what's going on in my head. And I would share that until it lost its power.
But if somebody can be truthful with you.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And tell you, hey, that's not, I'm sorry, that's the way that you feel, but I don't see that.
Yes.
Or whatever, you know, in the case is.
And then if it's still going on, you say it again. And you say, this is going on. Rather than throw more shit on top of it, say, hey, this is what I'm dealing with. This is what's going on in my head. This is sharing thoughts. You got thoughts in your head that have been repeating, get them out. Get rid of it. You know, it might be true, it might not, but you'll find out when you say it. You'll find out when you put it out to the world. That's it. Like, get down with it. This is what I think about myself. Really? Okay. But, you know, to have that stuff bottled up and think that you're going to just eliminate it by, I don't know. Maybe it works for people. I don't know. But for me, what we're talking about here tonight is, I think what works is to truly connect with somebody through being the truth and saying your truth. And if those thoughts are going on in your head and you kind of are tortured by those kind of thoughts, and I will tell you that if you tell somebody else those thoughts and you connect with somebody, that they probably also have thoughts that are torturing them. And if you do that and you say that, I think you'll have a connection.
an open avenue for a connection.
Yeah, and I think connection is what would eliminate. I think people that start having those thoughts and don't tell anybody feel more disconnected. It starts covering them up. It starts giving them a reason to not do anything. It starts letting them off the hook. It starts saying, I can't do anything because I'm ineffective and I'm not good and I'm a bad person. And that's a reason to quit.
Yeah. Or just
So-
fall back into your old behavior.
Yeah. Or get high to get rid of those
Yeah.
thoughts. So I think,
I'm supposed to be a drug addict my whole life.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I think, God damn, how important is it to share your truth then? Is it true? These are the thoughts I am having. How can that not be the truth? I mean, really, that's the truth as it gets. This is what's going on in my mind. And I'm telling you, I'm not telling you because I want you to think highly of me or negative of me. I'm telling you because it's going on in my mind and I can't be alone in here with it. And the longer I'm alone in here with this, the worse things seem to get. So I need to tell you. Is it true? I don't know if it's true. It's just what's going on in my mind. But that's the truth, that it's going on in my mind. So you are saying your truth because that's what's going on in your mind. Now, does that mean the thoughts are true? No. They could be, but they might not be. So you don't get to determine what the truth about your thoughts is. What you get to determine is the truth about what your thoughts are. It is true that I'm having these thoughts. Most people are saying, I don't want to say it because if I say it, I'm saying that it's true. No. If I think Angie is with another man and I'm having these thoughts that she's with another man. Now, it's not true. It could be true, but it's not true she's with another man. That's not the thing. The truth is I have to tell her my truth. And the thing that I have to tell her is I'm having these thoughts that maybe you might be with another man. Now, that gets it off me. I can put it out there. Was the thought true? No, it was true that I was having the thought. This is the importance of sharing our thoughts. It doesn't mean that they're true. It means that you're having them. And to tell the truth means to tell you the truth about the thoughts I'm having. And with that comes relief. And if you think you can be alone in there with the crazy person that you are and not tell anyone and be okay and then fake it with the persona, you're nuts. You're even crazier than the crazy person you're in there with.
Because you think no one else sees it.
Yeah, you think, well, you think people are going to you think people are going to judge you because you're having those thoughts.
Yeah.
You know, there was a time tonight, me and Angie had a conversation and she was telling me about some thoughts that she was having and she couldn't get it out. She couldn't get it out because she thought they were so ridiculous. And I was encouraging her to hurry up and tell me it's not ridiculous. I don't care how it is. And then she said it. First of all, it wasn't ridiculous at all. It wasn't insignificant at all. It was pretty big. And it jarred me to the place where I went, oh, Jesus. You know, she likes it. Guess what, guys? Angie wants, when she dresses up and looks nice, she likes to be told she looks nice. Big news flash, okay? And if I don't, it's not because she doesn't look nice. It's because I didn't have the thought to tell her that she looks nice. And now she says, you know, it bugged me that you didn't tell me I look nice because I'm wondering if I didn't look nice. And then she said, that bugged me. But guess what? Yeah, but guess what? That's been bugging her. You know? And it's not stupid at all. And what kind of asshole man doesn't tell a woman she looks good? What am I worried about? I'm watching the basketball game. I'm so concerned with the way I look. I'm a piece of shit. It's okay. I'm a dumbass man. But if you remind me, I probably would have went, oh shit, you look amazing. Sorry.
I think that every day when I see
Yes, I think it's so much. And that's what I said to her. I go, Well, I thought it.
Yeah, every day
I thought
see
it.
you.
I can't believe I didn't
Yeah.
say it. And that's what I said.
no
I said, I
problem
thought
sitting
it.
next to you.
Yes. I was proud.
Yeah.
You know? And so there it is. But you can't keep that shit to yourself.
Well, it validates your point about being when you're in a relationship that no matter what thoughts you have about the person or what's going on in the relationship,
Yep.
just to put them out in the air.
That's right.
And then you guys work on whatever, because then you're gonna it makes, instead of having that all that unexpressed
It's like a blanket.
yeah, you know,
The
it's
thoughts between.
Yeah.
it's, you know, if you're in a relationship, man, like it needs to be open, and if someone can, you know, make it better.
The space between always has to be clear.
Yeah.
And you can't have that, anything in those spaces between.
It starts putting up walls, man.
Yeah, walls.
And it starts blocking the connection.
And then have secrets, little secrets
Yeah.
start forming.
That's right. And little resentments.
Yeah, little resentments. Yeah,
It's imperative.
insecurities, all that.
All right. And I don't think it was stupid at all. And that's crazy that her brain was telling her that was stupid, because to my opinion, that was not stupid at all. I know when I get dressed up, man, I'm looking for someone to tell me I look good. You know what I mean? Why else would I be getting dressed up? There is no other point. You know? Like, oh, did you see my new haircut and my new shoes? Like, come on, what's up? You know? And then they don't tell you, and you're like, oh shit. I must be fat. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I look in the mirror myself. Does my butt look good? Yes.
Your butt makes those fancy extra small.
Yeah. It's all right. It's all right. Need it. So here it is. And I just always, you know, I don't think that I think this work is soul saving. And I think that you got to live. And I think your very soul depends upon it. Who you are depends upon it. And who you are depends upon, you know, and that's the beauty of addiction. The beauty of why we're here. And this thing, what addiction does is it makes everybody a student. And a lot of people with life need to be a student of life. And I think to be a student of life, it means to be a student of your own experience. It means to look at it deeper than just going through the motions. And look at it deeper than this character that you play. Look at it deeper than the acting that you're doing. And look at it deeper to a point where you want to feel truth and connection. And to do that, we have to, one, acknowledge the shadow and say, yes, these are the kind of negative thoughts that I have. These are the kind of desires that I have. This is the obsessions that I have. This is the kind of the nastiness that I can be given an opportunity. This is the kind of person that I can be sometimes. And then to eliminate this, not eliminate because it won't be eliminated, but to reduce the amount of time spent being a front, being a strategy. I'm not having to do that anymore. Not me personally. I'm saying I always have to do it sometimes, but that's the goal. Is that, you know, today I found some truth. I said something. It made somebody else cry. They said something. I cried. We connected. That was, and we convert, and remember this, you talk until you find each other in there. So I have to sift through all the bullshit and I have to talk to you until you say something true that it goes like persona talking, and then I can see you. And then you say something to the point where I might cry here, and you say something to the point where I now see what you're saying means something to you. What you said is true. And when that happens, we've now connected. And I need to connect with people all the time, or I won't make it. And the way I do it is I begin to just talk until I can find myself, talk until I can, you know, find someone else. So finding each other through conversation would be what we do, and finding the truth through that. And we talk until the persona falls down, until it's gone. And when you do that, you'll cry. So,
remember back in the day, like watching my parents, like growing up, watching my parents and how their friends would come over and the conversations that they would have, it would be like, you know what I mean? They'd go outside and Bob, my mom's really good friend, Bob Allman, for instance, he would go outside and he would have a cigar. And they would sit there and they would just drink coffee and they would conversate. And it would be like an hour and a half long conversation, you know what I mean? You could just tell like the friendship that they had.
That's it.
Through their conversations that they had, and they would just sit there and like walk throughout the garden and just have just amazing conversations with each other. And I don't think we have that very much anymore. And I think that's something that we all should definitely work on, because
we've got a lot of obstacles.
Right.
We've got a lot more obstacles that have ever been in place. And there's a lot more fear. There's a lot of fear to say your truth. Sometimes people can't even say their truth with their best friend. Some people can't even say their truth with their brother. Some people can't say the truth with anyone. And that's a tough way to live, where you have to watch what you say around even your closest family. And, so again, this is hopefully about, for you getting those golf shots throughout the week and connecting with people. And what we're doing here is always hopefully going to be about connection. And, I don't know if it's true that the opposite of addiction is connection, but I do know that sober people will have to connect with people, because you can only front so long, and you're going to want that. I don't know if I'd go so far as saying that the opposite of addiction is connection, but I would say that connection is important, more important than purpose, because I can have all the purpose in the world, but if I'm not connecting with human beings, it doesn't get me nowhere. I need to connect with people for a purpose, and that is the purpose. So again, hope it helped you connect tonight. I hope you saw some truth, and maybe we'll bring some more next week. So thank you all.
Thank you, everybody. Good night. Good night.